Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Rams House podcast. Here we are on episode 6. Your host, Ethan, hanging out with Joe and Will. What's going on, guys?
What's up, boys?
Greetings. How you boys doing?
Doing all right.
Could
Been
be
better.
could be better.
Yep.
Yeah,
Not an
terrible
ideal,
losses do that to you, man.
yeah, not an ideal, Monday in the season. We lost to the Bears. We fell to 1-3. Let's just go ahead and jump right into the Bears and Rams recap and talk about that. The first thing I want to cover with this, which was one of my favorite points, I've been on this guy's hype train from day one. I've been saying he was going to be the new guy, and I really want to talk about Joshua Carty making that 52-yard kick through the wind.
Imagine starting
boy
the
Cardi.
pod with kicker
Hey, boy,
talk.
Cardi, baby.
That's
But
how
go ahead.
that's how bad the game was. On one hand, on the other hand, he had just missed one, and the wind just it was straight down the line. And the wind just sailed it to the left, and then, but talk about a veteran awareness, veteran presence of mind. The next kick, he kicks it. It looks like he's almost shanking it to the right, and at the last second, the wind grabs it and shoves it right back in the uprights. It was legit like a Madden kick. He kicked it straight in the wind, and the wind just brought it right back into the uprights, and it was good. 52 yards, dude. 52 yards against the wind is crazy.
It was a great kick.
Dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
And just the presence of mind to adjust. I've seen kickers miss one in the wind and start freaking out and just miss 3 or 4 kicks in a row because they just don't have that composure. So, Cardi, you're my boy, and he's the new long-term kicker of the Rams. I'm super excited about that.
Yeah, man. When we were watching it live, dude, I know we were talking about it. The kick, it was swerving to the outside, and then at the last second, it just curved in. That's like Justin Tucker, elite kicking styles. That was elite.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I guess speaking about the game generally, I actually think we played pretty well on both sides of the ball, honestly. There's not a specific area that I could point to where I feel like we did really poorly, except for maybe their run defense, which I know we'll get to, the specifics of offense and defense later. But yeah, I thought both units played pretty well for the most part, which is why the loss was so frustrating. I think, honestly, we're the better team. I know that's kind of like a sore loser thing to say after you take an L, but honestly, I think if we play that team 10 times, we win 7 out of 10. Joe, you had mentioned during the game that it reminded you of the Steelers game last year, and I think that's the perfect analogy. Last year when we played the Steelers, that game pretty much just came down to one big mistake where T.J. Watt had a pick 6 on us, and I think that's basically the story of this game to me. That fumble that Stafford had. Yeah, I mean, if I could summarize the game in a sentence, I'd say we played better than them, but just a couple big mistakes cost us the game. So it's really frustrating, disappointing, but. Honestly, I still have some copium though, boys. I know it's crazy, but yeah, 1-3. But again, we were 3-6 last year, and we figured it out. So I still got a little copium in my cup, but disappointing for sure.
If we win that Packers game, going into the bye
and
week,
bro,
come
if
on,
we win the
baby.
Packers game,
Come on,
I'm
baby.
sipping on copium, bro. It's
Yeah.
overflowing. I'm fully back if we win the Packers game.
I'm with you on that one.
Yeah.
So yeah, real quick, my big takeaway was, of course, that one hurts the most just because, like you said, we're the better team, and I feel like we made so many good plays that we were supposed to win that game. But I don't know if we're going to talk about it, but Stafford, I think he had a nice game. He was pretty decent. He wasn't great, but he was pretty decent, and I just think that just all in all that we should have won that game, and we just beat ourselves really, and I think those are the worst.
Basically.
Those are the worst losses to watch as a fan when your team has it, but they just continue to beat themselves.
Yeah. Agreed.
Okay, let's go ahead and jump into the first segment here, offensive takeaways. Now, we're going to have a special segment at the end of the recap where we kind of discuss Kyren Williams, so we'll get to that. Then let's go ahead and talk about the other offensive takeaways. My biggest offensive takeaway, hands down, was the emergence of Jordan Whittington.
Yeah.
In fact,
That was
little,
awesome, man.
I have a little tweet here. Let's see here. Right here that shows Whittington led in snaps and he led in targets. So let's take a look at the box score. 8 targets for Whittington, most in the game. I thought he did pretty well with them. I thought he he really seems to be a reliable target and a guy that Stafford's learning to trust. I've been on the Whittington train since day one, and I'm really excited to see him start to get that recognition and that attention and playtime he deserves. And I think he's going to, when Puka and Kupp come back, I think he's going to be the number 3 guy.
I hear you. Yeah, really quick with Whittington. What I love about him is the yards after the catch, just really smart, man. Like gets the ball,
Yep.
immediately knifes upfield. You see so many receivers try to go like lateral, like run around a guy. He's just smart, man. Grabs the ball, immediately knifes upfield. Just a smart player. Hands catcher too. He's catching it with his
Oh
hands.
yeah, great.
Love
hands.
it.
There
Man.
was
Love
one.
it.
There was 2 plays actually we were talking about. There was one. Joe, you'll remember we were talking about it because he caught the ball and there was guys on either side of him, and you were expecting him to turn into one of them, and he kind of just literally just turned around and darted between them and got an extra 3
he, like,
yards,
split them.
and it went
Yeah.
from
Yeah,
being
man.
like 3rd and 3 to being like 3rd and half a yard. And then there was a secondary play where it was a pretty bad ball by Stafford, and Whittington kind of extended for it, and it was a just straight hands catch, really nice. And there was another one that was like thrown directly chest level, perfect throw by Stafford, and still hands away from the body, hands catch, really solid, solid form, solid fundamentals. So, yeah,
Absolutely.
for sure.
Yeah, I agree with all that about Woody, man. I love him as a player, and I'm happy to see him. I know Cup's coming back soon, but he's not playing next game, so I'm happy to see Woody next game what he does against the Packers. But for me personally, my offensive takeaway was I think this has been a recurring issue. Like I don't really have a big, huge problem with the offensive line. There's been a lot of injuries, a lot of moving around, and I think they've done as good as best as they can with what they have. But the issue is for some reason it seems like in the biggest moments they always break down. So, like for example, the Lions game that played a cup where we had just got the lead and we had the ball to run the clock out. It was 3rd and like 6 or something like that. And Stafford had Cup, but the pressure came on the left side and hit him, and it messed up his throw, and the ball kind of sailed out of bounds. Even the Bears game on Sunday, yesterday, on the interception. The pressure from the left side got right in his face in a big moment. Stafford threw an interception, and then the 2 point conversion where he kind of sailed the ball for DeMarcus Robinson and that fade to the left pylon. The pressure got in his face again, and he had to sail the ball. So I think that's an issue that we're gonna have to fix. Is in the biggest moments, especially in passing, the offensive line they just break down for some reason.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that kind of brings me back to a conversation we had a couple times. And one of the major disagreements we had coming into the season was I thought the Rams didn't do enough to address the O line as a whole. I didn't want Alaric Jackson starting at left tackle. I don't think he's good enough to be a premier left tackle in the NFL. And we understand how much pass blocking in particular means to a Sean McVay offense. We have a lot of longer developing plays. I was also unhappy with Noteboom being the primary backup at left guard and left tackle. AJR Curry, as we now know, is not an NFL player. Like, I just didn't feel like we did enough. There was also the mix-ups of who's going to play left guard, who's going to play center. We flip-flopped it back and forth multiple times. I just felt like we could have done a lot more to really shore up that offensive line. And it's not so much that it was atrocious coming in, but you know how important the O-line is to a Sean McVay offense. We've all seen that tweet. In fact, I wish I had pulled it up, where it shows basically quarterback efficiency compared to pass blocking. And whether it's Jared Goff or Matthew Stafford, it's an exact line of as efficient as the O-line pass blocking is, that's how good the quarterback is. Yeah. And so, yeah, I just would have shorted up. I never thought that the original left side of Alaric Jackson and Jonah Jackson, I thought was a huge problem in the pass blocking department. Great in run blocking, but pass blocking concern. And then when you have to throw in Joe Noteboom at either spot, AJ or Curry at either spot, and then you're talking about putting Logan Bruss, who, while is doing great in run blocking, has been really bad in the pass blocking department. So
Yeah.
it's a perfect point.
Kevin Dotson, and I think you've pointed out he's not fully healthy, so I guess I don't know. I don't know how much of a pass to give him, but he is struggling a bit in pass pro also, which is disappointing because
I give him a solid pass, man. I see him limping and I see him tripping over his own injured foot. Like it's not he's playing through some serious pain. I really believe that.
And to be honest, he hasn't been awful either while being that injured.
No,
He's
he hasn't
been,
been awful.
he's not.
I
hasn't
just
been
have
great.
really high
That's-
standards for him because I know
Oh,
he's
no,
a
no, I'm
good
with
player.
you. Yeah, I agree.
The interesting thing about that point is that he's been mostly fine, except for
he has been.
handful of really bad, like horrific plays where he's getting beat
Like
instantly.
lapses.
But you can tell on those plays we watched it back on the film. It looks like he's basically putting too much pressure on that ankle and it's hurting him. Like it looks like it's a problem.
Yeah. No, it's probably one of those things where he wouldn't be in if our O-line situation wasn't so drastic.
For sure, I agree.
Yeah. and a bye week coming up too, so that's going to help them. That's going to help
Yep,
them a lot
for
too.
sure, for sure. Yeah, I mean, so, and I guess just overall, I guess to be more positive, I actually thought it was a pretty good day from our offense. First of all, Chicago is a really good defense. They were ranked number 9 coming in, number 9 defense. I thought we moved the ball throughout the day, all 4 quarters. We were moving the ball. Matthew Stafford, I agree with your pretty good or decent day assessment, Joe. He, trying to be fair here. Couple really bad plays. The turnover that got overturned is actually my biggest gripe. Like I know it was the one where he scrambled to the left and threw it out of towards the end zone. It was a first called a pick, but then it was overturned. And I get it, like it ended up being overturned, but I'm still, I mean, I don't know what Stafford is thinking with that throw at all. So yeah, then obviously he fumbles, he has the pick late. So there were some bad mistakes. There was also some really nice throws to Tutu, to Whittington, to D-Rob. I thought he did pretty well. He looked pretty good. Offense as a whole looked pretty good. Run game, both backs averaging pretty good yards per carry. I don't know why we just abandoned the whole 12 personnel thing that worked well against San Fran last week. I think Joe and Ethan, I think we talked about this before. Is it seems like McVay sometimes will do that, kind of like psych himself out, where like something is working and then for some reason he just inexplicably goes away from it. We were running the ball well on that team, so I don't know why you at that point you wouldn't want to just double down, go heavy, do what helped us win last week with the 12 personnel. But
yeah, so for reference, we went from about 46 to 48, somewhere in that range, 12 personnel to 6 to 7. It's a huge drop off.
It worked so well, so we got to just go away from it.
That's
basically what happened.
So this seems to be a mistake, I think, for Sean. For sure, with the current healthy receivers we have, there's no reason we shouldn't be running more 12 personnel.
Yeah,
then
exactly.
One of our other major issues on offense is red zone scoring. We just can't do it. And to be fair, a big part of the struggle has been Stafford turning the ball over or just missing guys in the red zone. Big problems on both of those.
Good point. I should have said that. Is we moved the ball well, but you got to finish those drives, man. So yeah, 100%. That was the downfall.
Just to give him a little grace, he is missing like 2 of the best possession short yardage receivers in the game too. So it's like, but he still could be better.
I'm gonna push back on the Stafford thing a little bit.
Sure.
I do think it was a bit of a classic Stafford game. I think one of the main issues I had was he missed like 4 or 5 throws by that weren't even close to the receivers. And then he had 3 horrific decisions that should have been turnovers. The timing of them though were just rough, man. You had the one to end the game, obviously, but you had one in the red zone. The interception in the red zone that we obviously got called back, and we didn't make anything of it. But the timing of the bad decisions, bad plays, bad throws have been killing us. The fumble, the fumble was the first play of a drive. But Joe and I were in voice when this happened, and we said we were up 6-0. We got the ball back, and me and Joe were like, if we, Joe, your exact wording was, if we can score here, Chicago's not a team that can come from behind and beat us.
Yep. Yep.
And the first play of that drive, it was a slightly less bad version of the butt fumble. He ran right into a defender and dropped the ball. Like it was seemingly
he stepped right into it, which made it even worse.
Yeah, it was just it wasn't like, oh man, he just didn't see the pressure. It was like he stepped directly into a strip sack. It was just a boneheaded play. He just wasn't thinking. Just same with the first interception. It was tough. And so on one hand, we go, okay, the pass blocking's not very good. 2 main receivers are out. So we want to cut him some slack. But also, we're talking about Stafford as a top 5 quarterback. And you can't be doing this kind of stuff as a top 5 quarterback. So I kind of understand why it's like, okay, considering the circumstances, he had an okay game. But also, like, you're supposed to be Matthew Stafford. Like, when Kupp and Puka are out, we need you to freaking step up, and because he did last week. He did it against a better defense last week, arguably.
Yeah. I think, arguably.
So, yeah, that's my main pushback on the Stafford thing.
I agree. Yeah.
I agree.
And I think just specifically about the red zone, I know this is almost kind of like an overdone cliche take at this point, but it's true and it's worth mentioning. Is like McVay will run the ball, we'll run the ball so well from like the 20 to the 20, but then when we get to the red zone, it just seems like either we're not able to run it or we just choose not to. And I just wonder if part of that is why we're not punching some of those in. I mean,
Sure.
I think the touchdown we got with Williams, I think we got to the 3-yard line from a run, but when you're first and 10, first and goal on the 9-yard line, the 10-yard line, and things are packed in, it's hard to throw it in, man. Like you got to be able to run it down there.
Ironically, Sean said that at his presser. It's like,
And I honestly didn't.
Yeah,
even,
they asked him why Stafford has been struggling so much in the red zone. He said, "Yeah, it just the whole field shrinks in the red zone, and it's like, not that that's a good excuse because every quarterback has to deal with that, and Stafford's red zone numbers are really bad compared to other quarterbacks." But I agree. And one of the weird things we talked about from like the past couple games, for example, is like we'll get into the red zone. Even when he does run it, he did that like pitch play, and you're like, we've been running it up the middle. We've been running it up the middle perfectly. You're doing a pitch play here. I mean, he's like a 5-yard loss, and then he'll run like running back screens and receiver screens, and it's like running up the middle has been working like nonstop. Why are we trying to go outside? First of all, Kyren's not fast enough for that, so it's just silly in the first place. But anyways, you guys ready for defensive takeaways?
Yeah, we can go through there.
I can move on to defense.
All right, defensive takeaways. Oh man, I'm gonna let Joe go first on this one because I haven't gathered my thoughts on this.
Okay. So watching the game, before every game, I always think about certain players that haven't been playing good, and I always say, okay, let's not make this player a superstar on this day, and we can win the game. Keep him in the rut. DeAndre Swift became a superstar all of a sudden. He's been bad the first 2 games of the season. He became a superstar.
Yep.
And my takeaway is that the linebackers, I'm sorry, I keep pronouncing his name wrong. Christian Rose.
Okay, you can pronounce it wrong. Who cares?
Troy Reader.
Well, actually, I think his name is Plum.
Whatever his name is.
Plum, and his last name is Ass. Let me stop. All right, go ahead.
Like that linebacker tandem is so bad. They get washed out of every run. And Chicago, and shout out Matt Eberflus and Shane Waldron, they seen, okay, our receivers not getting open as they should, or Caleb is really just floating the balls and missing it. So you know what? Let's try this. Let's run this screen game. And if you look at DeAndre Swift, his receiving yards,
7 catches.
He's killing us, man.
72 yards, bro. He was destroying it. The screen, once they figured out the screen game was working, it was because our linebackers, they can't go from end to end, from sideline to sideline. They can't do that. So screen game is killers, and that's exactly what they did.
I saw a stat that said that I want to say it said something like only 3 or 4 of his completions were past 5. Oh, here it is. Let me pull it up. I was just looking for it so we could pull it up. But yeah, look at this from Cameron DeSilva. 2 passes of more than 7 yards downfield. They were all short little passes all game long.
Yeah, and on that, I remember we talked about in our takeaways or for the preview, we were talking about how Caleb is reckless. He'll throw it up. He'll take chances. He actually didn't do that. I was thinking about that all game because we talked about it. And the first 3 games he was doing that, but this game and the broadcasters were even giving him credit. They were like, talking about his growth and how he would take a profit or whatever, settle for that check down. That was unfortunate for me, man, because I was hoping he would just heave it downfield, take chances, but he was honestly playing really smart. I mean, he ended the game with like 157 yards. Like he didn't have a great game or anything.
I had a few plays.
He didn't have to throw it deep.
Yeah, I had a few plays where me and Joe were like, kind of, that wasn't a very good decision or a very good throw by Caleb. If we had a secondary that was playing any worse than utter crap, we probably would have made a play on that. But we were never in a position like he was by far the most controlled he's been all season. To your point, Will, but also it's like we don't have the secondary at this moment in time to take advantage of any mistakes. We're just not doing nothing with it.
Yeah, but Joe, you're absolutely right, dude. DeAndre Swift was like literally under 2 yards per carry before he played us, and then he looks like a superstar against us. I mean, that's just unacceptable. Kinshins took a bad angle on the long run. There was that screen you talked about, and then I had this in my notes too. 3rd and 1. 2:45 left in the game, so basically the Bears are in their 4-minute offense at this point. They're draining clock. 3rd and 1. Jared Verse, not unbelievable. I'm being a little bit nice. Great play to get penetration, gets in the backfield immediately, has Roshan Johnson dead to rights, and just whiffs him. Like, I've gone on him a couple times this season, and I think it's fair because I'm also really high on him. But like, man, that's the type of play where that's the difference between a win and a loss. Like, you get him down behind the line of scrimmage, they have to punt. We actually have time. Stafford doesn't have to press as much. Like, those are the plays, man. Like, you got to make those plays, and he's had a couple of those where it's huge plays that he has the opportunity to make, and he's whiffing. So love to see him clean that up, but at least he's getting back there is the silver lining.
And I agree, Will. I just think I agree with you saying about Jared, but slightly it's becoming an issue, man. It's because he's whiffing too many key plays. He's getting back there, which is crazy. That's why to me he's going to win Defensive Rookie of the Year as soon as he gets the sacks together. But like he says right there, 11 missed tackles. And all of them, not all of them, but majority of them to me seems like it's a
and you know what bothers me about it too, Joe, is he is so strong. So it's like it's a discipline.
Yep.
It's a discipline thing. It's a mental thing. It's like, bro, you're one of the strongest MFers out here, and you're whiffing arm tackles and hitting people. Like, just form tackle, bro. It's literally the 101. That's the first thing they teach you in little league football. Like, that's what bothers me about it.
Bro, the left tackle, he was throwing the left tackle around, man. Number 70. If you watch clips, he was throwing him around. He just can't finish right now.
Yeah, and I mean, we should mention he had two. What did he have? 2 sacks that were wiped away.
Gotta give him that credit. That was the secondary messed up. The holding the secondary. Gives him
I mean, that kind of leads me into my thing.
Sure.
Joe stole my ability to complain about the middle of the defense like I have been every single week. So I'm gonna go.
You got enough of that in, so it's okay.
I'm gonna go back to my other focus every week, which is basically the young D line. I've been harping on it all podcast long, all season long, all off season. These 4 guys are special: Jared Verse, Braden Fisk, Kobe Turner, Byron Young.
I agree.
Now here's the evidence. First, let me give a shout out to my boy because I've been hyping him up so much since you've drafted him. I said he was my number 1 DT. I said he was. I would have taken him at 19 happily, and that is Braden Fisk got his first sack of his career. And it was the fastest sack tied for the fastest sack by a defensive tackle this season. That's freaking sweet, right? That's so cool.
So quick,
and it wasn't one of those unblocked sacks. He was blocked, and he just shredded his guy. He shredded him. It was great. So, love to see that. And then this. Caleb Williams was pressured on 50% of his dropbacks, and we are number 1 in pressure rate through 4 weeks.
Wow.
But look at the chart here. It's pressure rate. See this, you kind of see it. Pressure rate's the bottom is the bottom axis. Sack rate is the side. You can't see it right now. So even though we're number 1 in pressures, we're like bottom half in sacks. So finishing is a thing. It's a thing we have to improve.
It's
once
frustrating.
Those kids get together, bro, it's going to be crazy.
And they are. They are.
Yeah. They're gonna clean that up. It's frustrating, but it's exciting too. I think they'll come. The sacks will come.
One of the funniest things that I saw about that whole thing was somebody and I retweeted it. So if you guys go follow us on Twitter, it was funny because some guy was like, "This is why I didn't like Jared Fisk. He can't finish." But just look at Aiden Hutchinson, bro. Aiden Hutchinson was top 10 in pressures in his first season and didn't even get double-digit sacks. If you ask any Lions fan, Aiden Hutchinson had I remember because Joe, me and you had a big Kayvon Thibodeau and Aiden Hutchinson debate, right? And you were celebrating because even though Aiden is crushing in pressures, he wasn't getting the sacks in his first year.
Don't remind me about Kayvon.
He has 6.5 sacks through 3 games. He's playing tonight. So yeah, I mean it was the silliest comparison because Aiden actually struggled tremendously finishing in his rookie year, and now look what he's becoming. He's been the most dominant edge rusher in the NFL so far this year. So Verse is going to be fine, guys. He's doing things that no other rookie edge has done ever. Like his pressure rates are incredible. He's one of the best edge rushers in the NFL as far as pressure rates go, which is just almost impossible for an edge rusher to do in their rookie season. The kind of guys who do this is Micah Parsons, TJ Watt, Aiden Hutchinson. It's literally the best edges in all of football are the guys who do this in their rookie year. He's going to be fine. He's going to learn how to... learning how to finish is the easiest thing. Getting by guys consistently is the hard part. He's got it in the bag. So everyone take a deep breath on Jared Verse. And also sign the apology form about your slander of Braden Fisk after the first 2 games, because now he's leading the NFL in pressures out of all rookies. So
He looks good, man. Guys, actually, honestly, you guys watched more film of Braden Fisk than I did. So you guys honestly, like, give me your real pushback on this. But he actually does. I know this sounds like blasphemous, but like he actually does remind me of Aaron Donald. And I'm not saying obviously I'm not saying he's gonna be anywhere near as good as Aaron Donald. But I'm just saying, like, how many DTs do I see with that quick of feet and that quick of hands? Like
not just that. He's one of the strongest defensive linemen in the NFL.
Yeah.
He crushed the bench presses.
Yep.
You see him knocking dudes up. So
like exactly, the strength and just the quick, like his first step, bro. Like that's
Joe,
rare. Like,
dude. So you're talking about the film watching. You're dead on. Joe and I watched him in the first 2 minutes of watching his film. We were like, oh, he's Aaron Donald like just because the speed to power combo is so rare. Not only are his hands fast,
it sounds so crazy.
It sounds
no. So let's delineate.
It's a poor man. I said poor man.
No, let's delineate. Let's delineate. It's not about quality. It's about style and it's about strengths. Braden Fisk has the same strengths and style of gameplay that Aaron Donald does. We're not talking about he's going to be a Hall of Famer, best ever defensive player of all time. We're talking about the similarities in the gameplay, and it's there. He's got quick feet, he's got quick and powerful hands, and he's an undersized guy who's just insanely strong.
Undersized too.
He is so similar to Aaron Donald in all of those facets. And whether he ends up being as good as Aaron Donald, probably not. But that's to be written, right? I mean, but even if he's not as good as Aaron Donald, he's still top 5, top 3 tech in the NFL. I'll take it. It's like, geez. Yeah. And so, that's my takeaway is the D-line. Byron's doing a great job. One of the great things I love, now this is going to seem an insult in the other direction, but Byron reminds me a lot of Leonard Floyd because he's an effective, I think he's a much better pass rusher, but he never seems to neglect setting the edge in the run game. He's so consistent at setting the edge. It's such a big deal for us. I give him huge props for that. So I want to delineate that he's a much better pass rusher. But Leonard was just so consistent setting the edge in the run game. Man. He was so good. He was a strong edge. Really good fundamentals. So Byron's obviously not the explosive athlete that Jared Verse is. But if you're telling me I'm going to have a guy in Jared Verse who's probably a future 12-plus sack guy, and I got a guy in Byron Young who's 8 to 10 sacks but is like an elite run defender, bro, I'm taking that edge combo all day, every day. In my mind, we have 2 elite edge rushers. That's how I view it. Even though their strengths are different. I think Byron's a better run stopper than he is a pass rusher, and vice versa with Verse. And then Kobe, man. I saw somebody talking about, has Kobe even done anything this year? I'm like, bro, what are you watching?
Saying Kobe Turner's done nothing this season. I think he's been playing well. I don't get that.
He's been eating up double teams. He's been getting pressure. Like I want to say we looked at it, and Fisk and Turner are among the leaders in defensive tackle pressures.
Yeah. Kobe Turner is one of the leaders in pressures right now in the NFL, bro. He's no.
And he's great against the run. He's probably our best run defender on the D-line right now. So, bro, I'm not taking no Kobe Turner slander, okay? I wasn't sold on Kobe Turner. None of us were sold on Kobe Turner when we drafted him, but we became Kobe Turner fans quickly afterwards, and he's crushing.
Super fan.
So,
all
right. Go ahead.
Last thing I want to say about the D-line is, I had been frustrated in the past about not just our rush, but I haven't been frustrated about the rush. Rush is fine, but I've been frustrated about our contain and the way that the edge rushers, just the angles they're taking. And we did a really good job containing Caleb Williams on Sunday. That was a big positive for me. And one of the broadcasters even pointed out on one of the plays where when we rushed, it was almost like we had him like funneled in or trapped in. So we took really good angles. Caleb is a good athlete, and he wasn't really able to run around and scramble. So I was really encouraged about that. And then just like the last thing I had, man, is Christian Roseboom covering DJ Moore on a 3rd and goal. That just can't happen. It's as simple as that. Like, I don't know if it's a miscommunication. I don't know if it's a misalignment.
It was. Mark Sanchez pointed out during the broadcast. He said to him, it looked like that they aligned wrong. That because he said the last second they were like trying to put out calls or something. They got aligned wrong. Roseboom wasn't supposed to be. He wasn't supposed to be on DJ Moore.
Yeah, I mean, I hope not, and I guess I would rather it have been a misalignment than Shula pulling some Raheem Morris thing and having a linebacker on DJ Moore. But anyway, it's a 3rd and goal. It's a huge play. You just, no matter what the reason was, you just can't have that happen. But
Yep.
overall, so honestly, guys, and like for me, solid on defense though. Like overall, it was, I would call it solid. Like, would you like? What do you guys think?
Solid. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess it was solid. It could have been better. The D line shined a lot. They made a lot of plays. They could have made more, which would probably made the made. We probably won the game if they'd have made some more plays. But I think it did good enough. And once D Will gets back, once Akello gets more in there, once our guys come back fully after the bye, I think we'll bring that because right now I think we're like the worst defense in the NFL. I think by season end we'll be somewhere in that 15 to 20 range, 17 to 20 range, right around there.
I'm gonna go underperformed on defense just because
Okay.
they were turning the ball over like crazy. DeAndre Swift was. We did a lot of things well, but we also did a lot of things poorly. DeAndre Swift had the game of his life, or at least the game of the season for him.
Yeah.
Kalo's been literally gifting the ball to anyone who wants it, and then we got nothing from it. That kind of stuff is disappointing, but it wasn't horrible. There was bright spots, but when you're playing with a really terrible middle of the field, bad stuff happens.
Yeah.
We're making all the running backs look good. All right, so let's go ahead and move up to stock up. So I'm just going to do this quick. Stock up offense for me is going to be the run blocking. It was tremendous again. It's just simple as that. The run blocking has been good. For as much as we criticize the pass blocking, the run blocking has been solid.
Okay. I'll go next, and I'm just going to be quick too. Jordan Whittington. I don't think it needs much of an explanation. Stepped up. We already talked about it. Yards after the catch,
Number
hands
one.
catcher. What'd you say?
Number 1 receiver is rookie season. Yeah, man, that's crazy.
Looks great, and I actually agree with you, Ethan. I'm buying him being the wide receiver 3 when Cooper and Puka come back. Stock up, Jordan Whittington.
Peace,
Looks like the real
peace,
deal.
D-Rob. Peace, Tutu.
Yeah. I
Peace,
love everything
Tyler.
about him, man. I love that he's fundamentally sound, bro. Like there's something about receivers that catch with their body.
man.
It bothers me so much. Anyway, I'm about to go on my fucking rant.
Because I was gonna say Jordan Whittington, but he was like I ranted about him on my offense takeaways, so I was gonna let someone else have it. But when you talk about a guy, could you talk about the reliability and the trustworthiness on important like 3rd down situations, 4th down situations, and hands, dude? Hate me all you want, but so far his hands are better than Puka's in his rookie season.
Puka had a ton of drops, so that's not even a hot take.
But
yeah,
dude, he catches away from his body every time.
Wrong
he catches
hand.
solid, and
Yeah.
we talked about this already. But the one play where it looked like he was going to be 3 or 4 yards short of the sticks going to 3rd down, and he turned upfield quick and just darted in between 2 guys. I just think about that. That's the kind of like when you talk about Cooper Kupp and Robert. Remember Robert Woods used to be our 3rd down guy. That was the stuff that made him the 3rd down guy.
Yeah.
Was that even if they caught it short of the sticks, they had the wherewithal. I was watching Red Zone yesterday, and I saw receivers catching it 2-3 yards, and they take these crazy wide angles trying to find more
Right.
room, and they end up actually losing yards
Yep, happens all the time. Yeah.
all the time. So the wherewithal to just I got to get as far forward as I can as fast as possible. Dude, he's a rookie. He's going to be
And
good.
he's a good blocker, bro. And he's a good blocker. Like
Right
come
now,
on.
he's the best blocking receiver on the team.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Love it, man.
you guys,
Love
D-Rob's run blocking was terrible yesterday. Terrible,
Even
as
better.
Charles Barkley says.
Yeah. No, honestly, man, because I was saying D-Rob was like going to be the wide receiver 3 and stuff at the beginning of the season. To me now, to be honest, he's more of just like this guy that'll come and get you like a big play like once a game. Like that's what D-Rob is.
'Cause
He'll
he doesn't
you,
get no
like, a 30
attention.
yard- Yeah, he'll get you like a 30-yard catch or like a 40-yard catch once a game, and it's valuable. And a lot of times it leads to a scoring drive, but like he's not like a down in, down out. Give this guy the ball
Agreed.
6 or 7 times a game. Like, nah, that's Whittington, bro. So anyway,
Yeah.
go ahead, Joe.
So my stock up is surprisingly, no, not surprisingly, it's actually what I've been wanting to say. My stock up is Tutu Atwell, baby.
Okay.
Tutu, the last 2 games. Last game, yesterday, he had 4 yards, 82. For the Niners game, he had 4 yards. 4 receptions.
yeah.
I say yards. 4 receptions, 93, and 4 receptions, 82 yesterday.
He was good
Tutu, to
yesterday.
me, he's been
good
stepping
yesterday.
up and playing how I've always wanted him to play. Just be that guy. How the deep passes, like deep out routes, deep slants. He's there and he's catching the ball. He's getting some yards after catch.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you guys are betting men, but all our viewers out there, if you're betting, one Tutu catch, his longest catch, if it says anything over if it said because it's a bet that says longest catch 13.5 over under hit over because he's gonna get 15. He's gonna get like a 20-yard deep pass every game. I'm telling you, hit that. Tutu has
Yeah.
been really, and I'm super proud of him. I know you guys are not big Tutu fans, but I'm super proud of Tutu, man. To me, he's just been stepping up.
I
Hopefully, it
hear you.
continues when the guys get back
Like,
healthy.
So you know what's crazy about the Tutu situation? Because I'm the Tutu hater of the group, and it's funny because he's actually doing better as a poor man's number two than he does as a number three or number four. So I do appreciate that. The problem is he's just not a good number two. If we had our main guys back, he wouldn't really have much of a role on the offense. But as a number two or even a number one who can be in motion constantly, like he does a pretty good job. So
yeah.
he's kind of stuck in a tough position where he's doesn't work because of his play style as a three or four, and he's not good enough to be like a really good number two or a good number one. So, but I appreciate what he's doing for us in this time when we're missing our top two guys. I do.
Agreed. He's stepping up a bit.
All right.
One quick thing
Yeah,
I'll
sure.
say about Tutu is, even though he's not a great route runner, his speed scaring the DB so much. I did see a play that was like, I think it was a deep out where just because the DB was so scared that he was just gonna run a 9, it just opened up like the underneath out for him. So I think he's utilizing that well, and I think McVay is doing a good job getting like most out of what you can get from him
Sure.
in this time. He's not a useless backup, so he's not like a bum.
He's a
or
nice little
anything.
gadget guy.
Yeah, he's not,
Good job, Tutu. Good job, man.
All right,
Yeah.
stock up defense. I'm just going to, I'm gonna say Trey White, man. I thought he did good all game long. He was on 3 elite receivers. He mostly played a flawless game. I mean, I can't even think of a single time where he really got badly beat. I think he's starting to get his legs underneath him from not having played the last few years with either injury, and I think that's a solid stock up. He's been good, and people have been really ripping on him. And I know you're going to see tweets saying, "Oh, he's the worst in passer rating allowed," but you got to realize that it's really just a couple big plays, and besides that, he's been pretty solid.
Yeah, I agree. My stock up defensively is just I'm going to reiterate. It's going to be super short. It's Braden Fisk. I just think that
Yes.
these last from the Lions game to now these 4 games, I think he's increasingly just got better and better. And last game to me, that might have been my favorite Braden Fisk game, just because I was watching. He felt under control. He felt dominant last game. So yeah, I would say Braden
I
Fisk.
agree.
Yeah, I had the exact same one, and I'll just say it's just interesting how people are so reactionary with rookies, right? Like 2 games in, people were saying like, "Whoa, well, Verse looks really good. Like, what's going on with Fisk?" It's like, dude, yeah, just because one guy is good right out the gate doesn't mean that if the other guy isn't like great right out the gate, he's bad. I mean, it's just everyone's on a different timeline. The cool thing about Fisk is you've seen him improve like steadily week to week, and totally agree. I
He
think this
hasn't hit the
is his best
ceiling
game.
either. He hasn't.
He hasn't had what?
He hasn't hit his
Not even
ceiling
close.
yet.
Oh yeah,
Not even-
no, definitely not. And just really quick, Ethan. Yeah, actually, like speaking of just things Rams fans are saying, a lot of people not liking Trey White, getting on Trey White. You can go to like Rams press conferences and people are like bench Trey White. I don't understand that at all, man. I mean, what did he
It's
do on
because of the
what did he
first 2
do on
games.
Sunday that you would want him bent? What was it? The penalty that wasn't even a penalty. That was
Yeah.
like a horrible call. I mean, I don't. I truthfully don't understand this. Anyway, I think he's playing fine. So I just wanted to like defend him a little bit.
No, I agree. He's let up a
all.
couple big plays, but he's been you're not even seeing him a lot because he's cracking down some good receivers. So, all right, let's go ahead and move into stock down. I'll start with the offense. My stock down is going to be the most. I'm going to be real about it. I'm going to go Matthew Stafford, Sean McVay, and Kyren Williams, and I'll tell you why I'm going with that trio because
Okay.
I thought everyone. No. I know I always say crazy things, and then you guys let me get my reasoning out.
It's not crazy.
Let
It's
me
just
get my
like-
reasoning out.
It's half the.
Who are the worst 3 players on offense? Now, let's just say the O line is a unit. The O line overall was decent.
Who was the worst player?
Who were the worst pieces on offense? Our O line as a whole was decent. I think they were good in the run block, like really good in the run blocking.
I would say our
borderline
receivers,
elite.
probably. Maybe tight end.
Our receivers were worst. I mean, we just talked about Whittington having a good game, Tutu having a great game.
I don't think Stafford was one of the worst players.
No. But I'm just saying, like, you got to consider who's who, right? So like we have 3 backup receivers playing adequate football. We got the O
Right.
line.
For backups, they're playing well.
But
Yeah.
this is a situation, right? When you have these situations, you're
Right.
counting on your Matt Staffords, your Kyren Williams to play well, and you're counting on your Sean McVays to call great games.
Sure.
Red zone play calling was miserable. Stafford's situational football was miserable. Kyren's vision, I know he had an okay game number-wise. We'll talk a little bit more about that later, but the run blocking was stupendous. You needed a Kyren 150-yard, 2-touchdown game. We did not get it. So
Yeah.
when you're considering the situation, the O-line's banged up. Like, they all did adequately considering where they're at. And the guys that you needed to step up in order to win this game were your legendary Hall of Fame head coach, your Hall of Fame quarterback, and your all-pro running back. And they just didn't step up at all.
Yeah.
So for that reason, I'm going stock down on them because those are the situations where you expect those caliber players to step up.
Yeah, that makes sense. So you're going with like kind of the nucleus of the offense, stock down.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Will. You want me to go?
Yeah, you go.
Okay. My stock down on offense is pretty peculiar. It's Tyler Johnson. And the reason why it's
Okay.
Tyler Johnson is because this is like the 3rd game that he's messing up a route just for no reason.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. Is because Stafford is like this. Stafford was mad this game. We
I saw
the
that.
replay of him. He was on the ground and he had his hands in his face. Tyler Johnson, he keeps messing up routes for some reason. I don't understand what's the he's been in the league I think like 4 or 5 years or something like that. So I don't understand why he's messing up routes. So Tyler Johnson is my stock down.
I don't find joy in that because I want every M to do well, but I did say after week 1 that people were going to overhype him, including the coaching staff, and he was going to get way too much burn. He had that one great catch, and then he's been getting a lot of snaps ever since, and they've been slowly dwindling, and he's been showing he's really not that good of a receiver. And so it was, remember we were having that discussion about the Jordan Whittington versus Tyler Johnson, and I was like, we're going to learn in the next 3 or 4 games that Whittington is him and Tyler Johnson is not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. That's a good one. Guys, my stock down is Blake Corum. And when I say that, it's obviously not a indictment on him, on his talent or his ability or him as a player. But when I think of stock down, it's not just like, did this person have a good game or a bad game? It's like, if I'm buying stock on a player, if I'm banking on him to have production, if I'm expecting him to be a big part of the offense, the stock has to be down because the fact that Ronnie Rivers is getting carries over him, the fact that we are spelling Kyren Williams, but when we do that, we're giving actually not that little carries to Ron. I mean, Ronnie Rivers got what? Like how many carries did Ronnie Rivers get? I actually want to know. If you don't have,
he got like 100 carries.
6.
He was on the field.
he had 6,
But he had a lot of snaps.
It felt like 100.
It did. He was on the field a lot. He got a lot of snaps.
Okay, sure. So yeah, you're giving a handful, you're giving a few snaps to Ronnie Rivers. I don't understand why that's not Blake Corum, and it must be something that, I don't know whether it's he's not a good pass blocker. I don't know whether he's not understanding the game plan. There's something that's not making sense to the naked eye, I guess, or to the fan eye. There's something going on there. Obviously, it's only 4 weeks in. I'm not like questioning his career or his future or anything long term, but right now the stock has to be down for me for Blake Corum. I was expecting this guy to contribute right away, actually. So
that'd be a stock down for Sean for me. I mean, Kyren isn't playing well. Ronnie Rivers isn't playing well. I get what you're saying though. If this is like a fantasy thing, and you're like, should I go pick up Blake Corum? No, the answer is no, because obviously Sean McVay hates his guts. I don't know why.
Exactly. That's basically what I'm saying. Yeah, like it's just Anyway, you get it, but
I agree. I agree with that. So since you went sort of a little different, I'm just gonna start the stock down on defense, and I'm gonna just go a little different ways. My stock down on defense. Okay, it's gonna sound crazy. He's a great player. I think he's been amazing. But I just want to just let people start seeing some things just so we can say it's a problem. My stock down is Jared Verse.
okay.
Now, the reason my stock down on defense is Jared Verse is because I think we have to keep it. I wouldn't say concerning, but I think we have to keep an eye on the missed sacks. And it's building. It's not an issue yet, just because it's only 4 games in the season.
Sure.
We have 13 more games left, so he can easily turn the corner. But it's starting. It's slowly. It's like a anthill. It's slowly getting bigger and bigger. And if he doesn't overcome it, it can become an actual issue. So that's why Jared Verse would be my stock down, just the missing tackles. But I'm pretty sure if I had to bet on it, I'm pretty sure he's going to turn it around.
I don't have any doubt in my mind. My defensive stock down, Yeah, there's a few options. I could harp on the middle of the defense again, the nose tackle, the inside linebackers. I could harp on someone like Cameron Kitchens, even though my opinion on Kitchens was that I wanted him to sit the whole first year and learn behind John Johnson. I didn't think he was ready, and that's clearly showing up on the tape. But a guy that I think all of us were pretty high on that I think has been pretty bad so far, and we can chalk it up to a lot of different things like communication problems or other things, but I thought Cameron Curl would be a lot better at this point.
Okay,
And
that's a fair one.
He's struggled against the and again, I'll give him a little bit of I'll let him slide on this because we talked about it in our season preview. Cameron Curl should not be playing deep zone. He should be playing shallow zone, man coverage versus running backs and tight ends, and playing the box. And they've had him in deep zone quite a bit, which because zone cover 2 is the current hot pretty lady in the NFL defensive world, right? Cover 2 is the thing that's working against everyone, but it's just not where he's successful, and it's showing that in the stats. I think I saw a stat that Kitchens and Curl have allowed a perfect passer rating this season.
Yep, I saw that too.
And so that hurts. That hurts hard. So I think if he's put in better positions, should do better. But I think regardless, Curl's not a guy who should be allowing, even playing out of position deep zone, who should be allowing a perfect passer rating. And he struggled with some missed tackles. So he's a better player, and for that reason, stock down.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. Speaking of doing weird things in this segment, guys, my stock down is no one. And it's because there's not a single player that performed poorly that I already didn't think was trash.
Sure.
I mean, it's just all the usual suspects at this point. I'm not gonna. I mean, how many times can I put Christian Roseboom on my stock down? It's just, I thought of Kitchens, but I think I had already been low on him. Honestly, I agree with you though, Ethan. I think in time he will be fine and he'll be good. And it's just unfortunate that he has to play for John Johnson. But I was already suspect. So to be honest, him not playing well didn't surprise me. Again, he did take a bad angle on that touchdown run by Swift. But I mean, look, I think if Caleb Williams had tested the secondary more, I'm sure I could have had a stock down. But it just didn't happen, and I don't got one.
I'm gonna give a real quick one in your place.
Sure.
Shula, I think this was his worst game as a coordinator. I think he's starting to make some
worse
mistakes.
than Arizona.
Yeah. Wow. A lot of the Arizona play, like after, if you remember the recap we did after the Arizona game, we were like, we can't tell if it's bad play calling or if it's just terrible communication and terrible situations.
Some of it was execution for sure. Yeah.
Man, there was some calls where I was like, what's happening here? What is he doing? What is his game plan here? And so, not like out on him, but like I was getting pretty high on him, so I'm kind of like leveling out, I guess you would say.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Okay.
So we're gonna move on to surprise segment, something we had not done on the pod before. It's been going pretty long, so we're gonna make it pretty quick. But I think it'd be interesting. You guys let us know if you like it in the comment section. But we're gonna be talking a little bit about Kyren Williams. So let's have that conversation. Difficult conversation about Kyren Williams.
Let's have that conversation.
Okay, Ethan. Before you start,
sure.
I just want to say, just give a caveat to all the viewers out there. If you feel the tension, like throughout all the podcasts, me and Ethan and Will, we have this little thing going to where I'm a big Kyren fan, and those guys are not. So off camera, we get a little WWE, but we're gonna tone it down a little bit. But it's a nice little war going on.
Yeah. So I'm presenting my side, and if you think I'm biased and all that jazz, that's fine. I'm gonna present it a few different ways though. First, statistically, yards per attempt for the season so far, Kyren is bottom 10, 11, right below Cameron Akers. And I don't know if his name is actually Cameron, right below Cam Akers. That's bad. Cam, I think Houston's run blocking is worse than ours, and we know how talented Cam is. So to me, that's embarrassing. That's unbelievable. So bottom of the barrel in the NFL right now in yards per attempt. And then we go to the next slide, and we have, maybe we go, okay, Kyren's doing good in the pass game. Maybe he's picking it up. No, he's bottom 9, 10 in the yards per touch section. That's catches and yards and rushes and yards. So either way you slice it up, Kyren is a bottom 10 performer in the NFL right now. And when we're talking about yards per touch, one of the reasons I think that's really important is because that's what's of limited quantity in the NFL, right? You only get so many touches, so many carries, so many receptions and targets per game. So what are you doing when you get the ball? That's what a running back and a receiver and a tight end, that's how we judge their performance as weapons, as what they do with the amount of touches they get. So let's go ahead and move on and talk about this a little bit. What does that add up to? It adds up to the Rams being a bottom 5 rushing attack, 88 yards a game, down there with the Dallases and the Vegases and the Giants and the really bad run games. And then our rush attempt per game is down there in the bottom of the barrel too. Now, why do I show the individual stats plus the main stats? Is because Kyren is getting the majority of the touches, and so I think that matters because a lot of teams are playing two backs, and we're complaining about why Quorum isn't getting opportunities. Kyren is soaking up all the touches and doing absolutely nothing with them. As you can see here, we're bottom 10 in rushing yards and per game and per attempt. So it's bad. Statistically, it's bad. Now, what I want to do quickly is review, first of all, when we're talking about how bad Kyren's doing, we have to acknowledge that the pass blocking, even though pass blocking is bad, makes us one of the worst pass blocking teams in football, or the worst. Run blocking is good. We're actually in the top 10 to 12. So run blocking has been good enough for a good running back to be very good. So that adds to that concern. So let's go ahead and have a quick overview of the first series of the game from Kyren and the last series of the game. Now, this is the first run play of the game, and ignore my weird colored marks. That's just me kind of thinking through, what's a good opportunity, what's a decent opportunity, and what is a bad opportunity here. We're stopping it. And I know, we can talk about all we want. It's not a fair thing to do to stop it, and while things move fast. But this is the kind of moment where a running back has to make a decision on what he's going to do, where he's going to go. This is the vision moment, right? This is where he's planting his feet and he's looking, where am I going to attack? And also what I think it does is it gives us the opportunity to look at it and say, okay, let's think about it. What does Kyren do compared to what we know a good running back does here, right? So looking at this kind of play, what are you guys expecting from this?
For him to run right.
I could even see left as a better opportunity.
Or maybe, he has that.
It's a hard, I think I made it yellow because it's a harder opportunity, right? It's a hard cut left.
I would just go right, but I'm not an NFL running back, but that's where it's blocked up for him to go.
Let's see where the NFL running back goes. Straight up the middle. He's getting hit 1.5 yards past the line of scrimmage. It's just, again, vision problems. We talk about speed and acceleration problems. Not what we're looking for. Next play. I mean, this is a running back stream. Now, let me preface this by saying he has two good directions to go. The right is open AF, but if he wanted to cut back and just make one guy miss, the left is wide open. This is a 20, 30-yard run if he wants to just make one. We know running backs who can make that one guy miss and go, right?
Yeah.
So what does Kyren do? Okay, now the first thing he does is he picks correctly. He's going to the right. That's a good hole. Okay, so now where you can't cut back inside. There's too many bodies. There's just way too many bodies on the inside. And you got this guy kind of slipping his block, right? So where are you going to go? The right angle, once you get past this line of scrimmage area, you want to take off to the boundaries because you see D-Rob getting ready to block this guy up top here. Just runs right into the defender. And let me just look. The defender's on the hash marks. Kyren is making contact with him on the hash marks. So he literally just ran straight into the defender, making no moves anywhere. That's bad running. That's not good vision. It's not good decision making. And look, D-Rob is about to make that block up top. You got Tutu coming up.
Go back to the last frame. I thought the defender actually had outside leverage on this, I could understand why Kyren would cut that in.
But the issue is he's still being blocked to a degree. He can make an outside move, and that's what good running backs do. They make an outside. I appreciate the dialogue. But a good running back can make the outside move. And worst case scenario, you're talking about Kyren having to make one guy miss, which is what running backs do every day.
He's not making people miss in the
at
hole.
The second level. Yes, at the second level in the hole, he's not making anyone miss. Correct.
Yeah.
Totally agree.
All right.
So next play. Screen pass. Now, we talked about this before, this is an opportunity to gain some yards, right? Do we agree?
Yep. Looks like it.
I mean, just don't go straight up the middle. You could make a quick cut back in and then burst through. You have room here to burst through, or you could just take it outside and beat that guy. The block isn't lost. It's still being engaged here. I think there's good opportunities here, but what happens, notice where Kyren's feet are. So Kyren gets to here and then literally comes to a complete stop. Now 91 or 91 is beating his guy. Ironically, he still has some decent leverage to go outside. But so he comes to a complete stop. He makes a move here to make 91 miss, but he took so long that 94 guy right here is now back in the play making a tackle. So what could have, should have been a sizable gain is a 1.5, 2-yard gain. All right, this again.
Wow.
We're talking about running
This is
back
a big hole, man.
dreams, dude. He's not going to get touched unless he makes a big mistake. He could easily get 4 or 5 yards past the line of scrimmage before he gets touched. If he goes straight outside, he's making one guy miss, potential for touchdown on here because we're at the 44-yard line. There's really everyone's being well blocked. This is a great play. Obviously, you don't want to run down the middle. You don't want to, cutting in is okay. You can make this guy miss. Hopefully, Tutu gets a block on number 1. There's a question about that. Number 91 isn't very cleanly blocked in that direction. So he gets to the hole, and okay, things are not looking quite as clean, but there's still, I mean, a running back can still make it to the outside on this play, and then you're worried about a one-on-one. Or there's still space between Dotson here, or is that Alaric Jackson, and Logan Bruss right here. There's still space to cut in. And then you make number 6 miss. You have 2 one-on-one opportunities. The only thing you really can't do is just hesitate, slow down, try to figure out what you're going to do next, and then run into kind of the whole pile of defenders.
Yeah.
It's just, but you're talking about, this is my major point, right? You're talking about, to this point, the options. There's options there. There's great blocking, and an all pro quality running back should be getting a sizable gain on plays like this. That's what I'm focused on, is the yards that are being left on the field. Okay, so still same first drive. I mean, I'm not even going to harp on this. Wide open. The whole right side of the field is wide open.
Wow.
Obviously, the play dictates run to the perimeter, make a guy miss. You should be getting 8 to 10 yards easy on this play. Now, I want to go back. Kyren is on the hash mark, on the 42. That's why I made these lines. He was right here on the first still. Second still, he's moved up 5 yards exactly. 5.5 maybe.
What was that, a 2-yard gain?
Yeah, it ends up, he's getting hit. So, but the issue is he's not running to the perimeter. He started at the hash, and he's like in between the hash and the numbers. So he ran 2 yards to the right when he had another 10, 12 yards available of space to the outside that he could have gone. Like, to me, that's just unacceptable. He's not going to it's like the easiest thing in the world in this scenario. You just go to where the green's at, man. Go to the green. Just go where the grass is. But he instead is running right into the pile of defenders. It's unacceptable football. Now, this dude is crossing the line of scrimmage and not a bear within sight.
Look at that hole, man.
That hole is massive.
That looks like college football right there. Like, that's crazy. And like not even like a real college football program. That looks like Appalachian State or something playing.
And dude, there's
against Alabama.
Exactly, and there's options. He could now one of the things we're going to see in the next frame, right, is that Parkinson doesn't have a great block on this guy. But you're a freaking running back. You got to be able to cut up in here faster than that guy can get off the block and make the tackle. That's what good running backs do. There's also some space between who is it? That's Bo Limmer and Kevin Dotson right here. There's also space.
Does he just run into their asses here, into the linemen's butts?
He does what he does. If he's not running into linemen's butts, he's hesitating too long and giving defenders the ability to come back into the play, and that's what he's doing here. He has one direction here to go into. He could run into the hole between Dotson and Limmer, and he even has the left side to go into because Limmer has the inside leverage. He could go left here, and then look at this. These two guys are ready to block. The whole left side's wide open. There's options. There's plenty of space to make those options. And what he does is he tries to go right down the middle. Look, he's still not cutting out.
Yeah.
Like
I remember this play live. I texted you all saying like he's almost like he's like a bowling ball trying to knock over his linemen that are.
Yeah.
Why are you like? It's almost like he wants.
By the way,
run into his line. He loves running into
his
linemen.
He loves it. And this play is
It's really a strange thing to do for a running.
Look at the crazy thing is it's 3rd and 13, so he needs yards. Like if you don't get a first down, who cares? Get a first down or nothing. None of it matters at this point. So not only is he not going to the boundary where the easiest chance for a first down is, he also hesitates in the hole. And we got Jordan Whittington out here blocking, who we just talked about as one of the best blocking receivers in football. He just hesitates and gives time for the guy behind and the guy in front to get in position and make a play. And he just gets tackled right. I mean, look at these back-to-back, right? Where he literally just moves 1 yard forward and gets hit by 2 guys. Just unacceptable. Now we're at the end of the game, and we have disagreements on this play.
A couple more. Yeah,
a couple more. So here we are. In my viewpoint, I know we disagree on this. A guy with enough speed is going to be able to hit the outside, make one guy miss, and be gone. And one of the complaints about
I
Kyren
just want to
is
pause for 1 second, just because it might not be that obvious. Just this was like the drive of the game.
Yes, this is it. This is the game.
This is the last full possession we had. I mean, we had one more possession with like 60 seconds left and no timeouts where Stafford throws.
But where we want them, exactly.
This was like our real like last chance to win the game.
If we score here, we go ahead and we make them have to score, and that's the position the Bears do not want to be in with Caleb Williams right now. So it's a big deal. And I know we disagree on this position. I think a faster a running back, like a guy's late 4.4s, early 4.5s can make this run.
Oh,
I know Joe disagrees, and you can say your piece. You said it was a really good job, a really poor job blocking, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's all you're gonna give. Okay.
That's all you gotta say, Joe.
No, I'm gonna let you cook.
Sure. So
you work hard. I'm gonna let you cook.
So the one thing I want to point out about this still, and we don't have to linger on this long, is he's pretty much flat-footed here. He's not sprinting to the sideline, which is exactly what, when you see this, is what he should be doing. He should be sprinting as fast as he can to the sideline, and he's being patient. He's doing hesitation moves, bro. We need you to sprint to the sideline, get that separation, and make a quick cut up field. And the reason why there's so many bodies here is because he didn't go to the sideline fast enough. Whether it's because he doesn't have the speed or because he hesitated too much is kind of out of. It's not. It doesn't matter. Either way, it hurts the Rams.
Yeah, so we've actually played this video, us three, right before we recorded, because we can't play the video because it could be a copyright issue. But where I'm at with it is, number one actually does a really good job setting the edge, and the blocking isn't the best, but Kyren pauses and hesitates way too much on a play
a couple
where
of
it's
times.
Like, bro, it's a stretch. There should be no doubt in your mind where you're going. You're going out, like, it's a stretch play. You know where you're going. So I don't know what he's hesitating for, and that cost. He could have got that edge, in my opinion.
I agree. So, and the one thing I'll say is, a stretch is either straight to the perimeter as fast as you can, or straight to the perimeter as fast as you can, and then you make a quick cut upfield when you see an opening. But he did none of those things. So this is the drive, and this is just a terrible way to start it. And then there's four guys on him.
I actually don't think there was a cutback lane. I know Sanchez said,
there wasn't.
I think there might have been a cutback. There wasn't. I don't know why he said that, but he absolutely needs to just take that and just make a beeline for the sideline. And if you guys play the video, you'll see that.
Yeah, absolutely. Go watch the first drive, watch the last drive, so you can see what we're talking about. Now, what I will say is, there should have been a cutback. So when you see the separation between number one and this guy here, if Kyren runs fast enough to the outside and one matches his speed, there will be some space there. But because he did it so slowly, all the bodies are there. There's nowhere to go. That's what I'll say. So let's go on and look at this. This is the one last thing I want to say about this play is, when you see this frame, you don't imagine that when he gets here, he's going to be surrounded by 5 Bears. It doesn't enter your mind. And that's where my complaint is.
And he's just slow. It's half the issue. Half the issue, simply put, is he doesn't have burst when he gets that handoff. He's not very fast. He's not very quick.
Totally agree. And I think he said he gained weight this offseason. So, okay, so here we go. Now you've got, in my opinion, you got a pretty nice hole to the outside.
Is this the one where he trips?
Yes, it is. But look at the.
Oh, God.
So this guy, Bruss, is getting obliterated right here, like badly beat.
Yeah.
You can make a cut to that outside. That guy is fully engaged. He will not tackle you. And look at the blocking here. You have Limmer stepping up to the second level.
Dude, if
you have
went left, that could have actually been a huge run.
A huge run. Because look, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 receivers here. So you have 3 guys left, but you have blockers coming. You also could go right. I mean, I know this isn't fully engaged yet.
You could.
It's something. What you don't want to do is go through the middle.
What you can't do is go up the middle.
So, drum roll, please. What does Kyren do? Boom. He tries to go through the middle.
And trips.
It's ironic because this guy's getting whooped. Logan is getting whooped. He doesn't trip over Logan. He trips over Havenstein. Or no, the Parkinson's here. And he just trips and falls over. Dude, you're just not going to convince me that this play, when it starts off and you see the blocking on the left side, you see some of the blocking over here. The right side isn't great. A speed running back can make something happen to the right. The left is the correct read, without a doubt. But he tries to force it up the middle. And you just don't imagine when you see this that it's going to be a freaking 2-yard game. All right, so now we're at 3rd and 7. And screen pass. And, bro, there's some space to be had here. I know there's 2 guys closing in and 1 guy to beat. But that's what good running backs do. They make a safety miss and go.
All right, this is the only one that I disagree with you on.
No. Look,
how he's gonna convert.
But look where he's at right now. He's past the line of scrimmage. The block on 43 is excellent. Can we agree? He's got, now you're talking about, still, he has space. He has the whole perimeter. All he has to do is get up here, cut out, and dive for the first down.
It should have been
Look,
closer.
look where
I'll
he's
say
at right
that.
here. As soon as he
Yeah.
gets around the tight end
He's
block,
cutting-
he starts
yeah.
cutting in. The only thing you can't do is cut in or run straight. You're telling me if he doesn't cut, because remember, this is like the game's on the line here. If he doesn't cut out, there's no chance. This guy's flat-footed here. He's not running to the boundary anymore.
Yeah.
If you cut out, there's a chance you make that first down marker. But but look, 4 defenders, and he literally just cuts in and runs right into the guy.
Yeah. Look, I'll say that one would have been tough to convert, but I agree with you about the thought process and just the way he ran on that one. So
it's just a run. Yeah, we can argue about whether he gets it or not. The reality is it was the wrong decision.
Sure.
All right, now this is one extra play that we saw because we saw someone talk about what a great running play it was, and this is what I want to show you. First of all, this hole is massive from the back view. This is a humongous hole. So he finds the right hole, he runs through it. You're like, okay, this is great, and you're like, okay. First of all, let's go back. The hole he passes the hole at the 5-yard line here, whatever this is, right? This I guess is the 35-yard line. He passes the hole, and you're like, okay, so then you got to immediately go left or right. Like you kind of have 2 options. You can go either way, really. Just make one guy miss and you're free. And then next frame, he's 5 yards later and he's still running straight. Like look where he's at. He's still straight as an arrow. Has not done anything.
Yeah. By the way, this is the exact type of play that DeAndre Swift on the flip side scores on.
Crushed us on.
Gets to the second level and picks aside, makes Cam Kinchens miss, and then scores like a 40-plus yard touchdown.
Now you're here.
On this one, I'm with y'all. This is egregious. He could have easily bounced it off to the left, to the outside, and one was in the back. So one would have been on number one. He would have been on catch mode.
Yeah,
So if
totally.
Kyren he could have just cut to the outside and made one have to catch him.
Yeah, because let's go back one more real quick. One is nowhere near here right now. Part of the reason why people are catching up on and this still is because Kyren is slowing down, trying to decide where to go. You can't go right. There's literally bodies everywhere to the right. This guy has a little bit of right leverage too. You see, he's got that foot planted there, and you go, okay, it's clear. You also can't run into the guy. Just cut left and you're free. What does Kyren do? He literally cuts right and just.
Bro, it's sad to see. This is one of those plays where the safety should be panicking, like, "Oh my god!"
100%.
And Kyren just bails him out by making it not even a hard play.
But
he just runs straight at him, like you said.
His outside foot isn't even on the ground. Like he's got full planted on the inside. Like his whole body's leaning inside. If you cut out, there's no chance this guy gets you. No chance at all.
Look at that safety's stance too. Like it looked like he was just like primed to be
juked.
He looks. You can tell he's like flat-footed. Like he's not not in good position. Like
go back real quick, Ethan. Listen, now if you just do the clip slowly, if you look at number one, he thinks Kyren is about to cut to the outside.
Yeah,
that's how you know that's the right thing to do. If you watch him, he starts moving to the outside because he thinks Kyren is about to cut to the outside.
The defense knows where the cut is, and then bam. Bam! Like if you just look at
where he's going, he thinks he's about to go on the outside. Yeah.
And he had 9 beat. Nine's off balance with inside leverage. He had 9 is beat. If it's a cut outside, 9 is beat, and it's just about how fast Kyren can run compared to 1. But bad.
Yeah.
And what did Kyren have to say about it? They were giving me holes that I should have did more with. It's that simple.
He said that.
I know, I'm shocked too, but them's the facts, bro.
Honestly, respect for saying that because he actually statistics-wise he had like a decent game, so I respect him for saying.
I do too. I do too.
Okay, good job, Ethan. That was actually I'm glad you put that together. It seemed like you worked hard. And on a serious note, like you did a good job. Good job.
I'll do a better job with the. I'll make some arrows rather than some weird squiggly lines.
Yeah, of course we can do
cool.
better.
We got it.
So. Me real quick because I know we want to talk about the Packers game.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm gonna say is,
the Packers
game. I'm at the point with Kyren, with you guys, and not just you guys, actually, there's other people too that we know. It's getting to the point where it's sort of teetering the line of being overly critical because we just watched all those slides. It was good, but that was a game where he had for 19 rushes, 94 yards, and a touchdown on 5 yards of carry. So it's getting to the point where even when he has good games, it's like those get criticized. And when he had bad games, those get criticized. So the only way it don't get criticized is if he has a game to where he's amazing and the run blocking is not giving him all the holes, or he's hitting the holes and picking the correct way every time. I just feel like we're getting to a point where it's just being overly critical. Because, like I said, he's not. I think he's a top 10 back because he had an All Pro season last year, and I think he's starting to rev up a little bit this year. But I can admit he's not Derrick Henry. He's not Nick Chubb whenever he gets back. He's not Jonathan Taylor. He's not, the great running backs. He's not that. But I still think production wise, because I know we have an issue with that, that I'm more of a results guy than process, even though process is important. I'm a guy like I've always been like that my whole life is just get it done, no matter how it looks, just get it done. And I feel like he's been doing that in his career. He just gets it done. So I get why you have, why you guys have your comments and what you guys don't like. But I feel like sometimes we get to the point where it's just being overly critical.
The issue with me is he's just leaving too many yards on the table. That's it.
Yeah.
And we could have done this all game long. We've done it in the past, whole games. With the first 3 games I did it, posted those same screenshots in Discord. Ultimately, that's what it boils down to: is how many yards you're always going to make mistakes, but like, are you doing it consistently? And Kyren has done it consistently in all 4 games. It takes an elite run blocking game to get him 94 yards and a touchdown. And so that's my issue. And like you were saying, he's not Derrick Henry, he's not John, he's not Blake Corum. That's part of the problem too.
Oh, Blake
Yeah.
Corum. Well, okay, hold on. Let me stop. I like Blake Corum. I don't want to seem like a Blake Corum hater. I don't want to build that rep about me, but dude, you gotta be able to beat out Ronnie Rivers. I'm sorry. If Ronnie Rivers is on the field, to me it's just a stock down Blake
But we
Corum.
could say
You
things
have
about
to-
Kyren, right? Kyren couldn't beat out Cam Akers or Brett Henderson his first season.
Well,
Yeah, I mean, that's a good
It's
point.
coaching
I think
decisions
Ronnie Rivers is just a whole nother. Just out.
All right, let's get into the preview here. We're running over on time. That was a pretty long presentation, but let's just go through the
hey,
preview real quick.
let us know in the comments what you think about Kyren Williams. I hope you all don't think we're haters or anything. I think it's completely fair. It's what the film shows. The holes are massive.
Yep.
Joe, I get your point though too. The results you could argue are there. But let us know what you guys think.
It's just,
Sorry if
yeah. No.
It's okay.
I understand. I understand both perspectives.
it's an important topic though. Look, and the league has shifted more towards the run this season, and our receivers are hurt. So it's and the one of the only positives that we have going for us is that our offensive line is opening it up front. So it is frustrating when we don't have someone that's, in my opinion, fully taking advantage of it. So I think that's why we harp on it a lot. But anyway, let us know in the comments what you think about Kyren Williams. Let's talk about the Packers.
Yeah. Okay. So
Second All-Pro campaign on the way, baby.
I hope so.
Oh, we're talking about Josh Jacobs now? Yeah, he's coming up. Rams offense versus Packers defense. Let's go ahead and take a look here. Rams offense is, Bo Limmer's been solid. He's a backup. Logan Bruss, the run blocking's been good. We're pretty much same people as we were last week against the Bears. The Green Bay Packers are potentially going to be without Jair Alexander. He's kind of still he was out this last week, and there's no definitive word yet on what's going to happen, but this is a really good defense. Got Kenny Clark, Rashawn Gary, Preston Smith. You have some dudes here. McKinney's pretty good. Jair Alexander, it's not a bad defense. It's not incredible. It's worse than it has been the last couple of years. They've lost some pieces, but still super talented. I'm definitely a little nervous about watching Kenny Clark up there. Against our guards who've been struggling lately in pass protection, because Kenny Clark is a pretty good against in both the run and the pass. So interesting dynamic there. Let's take a look at the Rams. Do you guys have anything you want to say about the Rams? Or let's just keep going.
Yeah.
We'll get through it. Rams.
Actually,
go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, something real quick. On the Packers. Okay, never mind. Keep going. You keep.
Yeah. Okay. So let's take a look at the defense versus the offense. So where do we stand? We got everyone back from last week. It seems like it's maybe an outside chance that D Wheel comes back. They started his practice run, so he's got to be back in the next 21 days. I doubt he's back this week, but we can just hope and pray that Bobby Brown loses his job this week. We can hope and pray that Christian Roseboom or Troy Reader loses his job this week. I just want to see someone else, man. I want to see more Tyler Davis specifically, and I want to see Omer Spates. So let's.
And Sean McVay did say they're going to activate D Will this week.
Yeah, but I don't know if he's going to immediately go back in.
Yeah, because it's a 21-day practice.
He's not going to be back Sunday probably.
All right, then on their offense, it looks like they're pretty much They're missing Jordan Morgan. The O line is
Christian
suspect.
Watson. Christian Watson out.
Christian Watson's out. They still have Jordan Love's back. He's gonna have 2 weeks under his belt now. Josh Jacobs is a stud. They still have Romeo Dobbs. They have Jaden Reed. They still got some pieces. It's definitely going to be a challenge. Reed is really fast.
Yeah,
it's just
receiving core for sure.
Decent tight ends. Tucker's decent. Musgrave is decent. It's just going to be a good matchup. And then on, so I think I'm looking forward to that. So let's go ahead and move on to talking about the key matchups. I'm going to go first. My key match, I'm just going to keep it simple. I'm going Kenny Clark against whatever guard he's going to be lining up against. I'm sure he'll move around to some degree. He might even line up over center sometimes if they go to a 3-man front. So Kenny Clark versus either of those guards. He's just a machine. He's a monster, man. He's a really good player.
Yeah. My key matchup is the I'm gonna say Stafford versus the Green Bay secondary.
Okay.
The reason that's my key matchup is I'm looking it up right now. Green Bay hasn't been good against the pass. They're 25th in yards given up a game in pass. They're giving up about 230 yards again, 230 yards a game in the pass. They're actually below us, which is kind of funny. So I think this is a game to where Stafford. I think McVay, they're going to throw the ball a lot, most likely. I think this is a game where Stafford for Ethan, he could have one of those, 300, two plus touchdown games.
And if Jair Alexander's out,
need it.
There's no other stud on the secondary besides Jair Alexander. McKinney's an okay player, but the rest, there's no studs. So yeah, it's a secondary that can be eaten up for sure.
Yeah, my key matchup is our defensive line against the Packers' offensive line. I just think if Jordan Love has all day to throw, we don't have much of a chance at all. Jordan Love also, he likes to, scramble, run around, play some backyard football, and if he's able to run around and extend plays and make plays off schedule, forget about it. He can do that, and he's dangerous when he does that. So pass rush, contain, and finish those sacks this time. That's my key to victory. Or my key match.
No. And to back that up, Love had a pretty rough game. He was known last year for his lack of turnovers. Even though he had a lot of yards and touchdowns on 54 attempts, it was a crazy day for him. He did have 3 interceptions, and one of the reasons why was because he had he was hit 10 times. So he was under pressure a lot that game. So that's a really good point, Will. All right, now keys to victory.
Yeah. So my keys to victory is we should probably have a segment or something because the first 4 games of the season we didn't turn guys that were playing bad. We turned them into superstars. So I'm gonna just say it again: do not turn this guy into a superstar, and that is Josh Jacobs. He hasn't scored a touchdown yet.
He already is pretty dang good, though.
Yeah, but he hasn't scored a touchdown yet. His best game was against against Indiana. He had 151 yards on 32 carries. Last game, he had 9 carries, 51 yards. So what I mean, don't turn him to a superstar is since he hasn't scored yet, please, Rams run defense. Rams defense.
Troy Reader, Christian Roseboom are sitting there going,
yes, please don't make it the game to where he has 170 yards and 2 touchdowns or something like that. Because like you said, Will, he's really good, and Josh Jacobs can do that. So please don't turn him into a superstar.
You know what's so weird about it, Joe, is we shut down the Niners' run offense. And Jordan Mason has been running wild on everyone. And then DeAndre freaking Swift, man, who's averaging less than 2 yards a carry goes off against. It's just weird, man. I can't make heads or tails of our run defense.
All right. My key to victory is going to be having some semblance of communication and coordination in our secondary. It's as simple as that. We have to fix all the problems, honestly. Let's just make some progress today. Some.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You're right.
I'll just keep mine simple too. Pass protection, man. If we're gonna have a chance in this game, we need it. It has to be one of those games where Stafford can just sit in the pocket, pad the ball, be comfortable. If we're gonna have a chance to win this game, he needs time to throw. I think we're gonna have to take some longer developing shots. Because I think the Packers are gonna score, man. So it's gonna be a game where Stafford's got to be able to take his shots too. So
totally
that's my key.
All right, predictions.
I guess I'll go first. So listen, me and Will have been wrong. I don't know if you've been wrong yet, Ethan, but me and Will have been wrong every game, and it's a shame. Really. But
That's
listen,
true.
it's a bit of copium. But the way I'm breaking it down is usually we lose to Green Bay because we're in Green Bay. and the weather's awful.
Hmm. Yeah, I
Now
was thinking about this.
we're at SoFi Stadium. Green Bay have great fans. I don't know if they travel like Niner fans to where it's going to be 95% Green Bay fans,
I
but
think they do travel.
They do.
okay,
I
well,
think you'll
I'm
see a lot
probably
of green in the
I just
stadium.
pray it's not like the Niners, but we're in SoFi Stadium, and I think the Rams know that this is probably a must-win game, especially because 1-4 is like 3-6, but we will be 3-6 injured, and
Yeah.
that's a whole different problem. So I would say in a must-win game, I would say we get the win, and I'm gonna go high scoring. I think we get the win 27-34.
Okay.
Okay. Will, you want to go?
Yeah, guys, this was the hardest one to call for me. I really went back and forth on it. Joe, it's a good point you brought up. It not being in Lambeau is huge.
Yep.
It's really big. Honestly, guys, I can't bring myself to pick the Rams in this game. And Joe, at least now one of us has to be right this time. So
Yeah,
that's the
there you
good
go.
news.
Yeah, baby. One of us
But
gonna get one on that win column.
I can't do it, man. I can't do it. I just think, man, I mean, I don't know if you all watched the Packers Vikings game, but the Packers came alive in the second
Yeah, they did.
half. That offense is scary. Jordan Love is scary. Our defense is just sussing that a little bit too much. I'm gonna go Packers 28, Rams 20.
Okay. And I'm going to make it short and sweet. I'm going Packers 30, Rams 24.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I'm with you guys. It could easily be a loss. I just think just like the Niners game, they didn't want to go down 0-3. I
Yeah.
think going down. I don't think they want to go down 1-4. So I think I think they're gonna really go after it.
No, I hear you. The NFL is a crazy,
It
crazy
is.
thing. It tends to even itself out. So what you're saying makes sense, and I hope you're right.
All right, everyone. Thank you for watching. I know this was a bit of a long episode. We appreciate the patience. Let us know what you thought in the comment section below. Please like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. Any parting words, gentlemen?
Nope. Go Rams.
All right,
Okay.
guys.
Just
See
like
you guys
said, like
later.
and subscribe. Appreciate you
Thanks for
guys.
watching.
Bye.
Yep.